Hi dear everyone, welcome to Lifestyle's Interesting channel. Today we will explore fascinating narratives that have shaped the course of history. In today's video, we are going to tell the exciting story of Rodrigo's family, where they went through an extraordinary journey that challenged the barriers between the human and the supernatural. So, get ready to dive into a world of curses and supernatural creatures. Don't miss this suspenseful story. See it to the end so you don't get lost in. But first, if you like this kind of content, take the time to subscribe here on the channel so that YouTube will let you know when we post a new story, okay? Ready? Already subscribed? So, let's go to the story. The seventh son is a werewolf. Senior Romeo was a good storyteller. One day, he was invited by farmers from the region of Tequiroi, in Para. In that region, it was the custom of the farmers to get together for a round of stories every 15 days. Each fortnight was in a different farm that already had a date set. On the day of the event, the farmers always invited their peons to participate as well. After all, everyone loved to hear Romeo's intriguing stories. One day Romeo told a rather terrifying story. In fact, he had never told one like the one he told that night. Then he began. Here in our region, we have several werewolf tales. Just these days, there have been rumors that there is a werewolf prowling the farms and eating the animals. Moreover, it is said that if a family has 7 male children and if they are born on the night of a full moon, when the moon appears in the sky, that child is cursed and becomes a werewolf. Marcelin then spoke up after Romeo finished the story and asked, "Romeo, is that true or just a story?" Romeo said, "Unfortunately, yes, it is true. And there's more. If a person is injured by a werewolf, he will also be contaminated and will turn into a werewolf every full moon night. And you said you heard that there is one prowling around the farms in this region, isn't that right?" says Romeo. "That's true, too. We have to keep an eye out. Tomorrow will be the night of the full moon." Then Marcelin was terrified, because he had 7 sons and the youngest was born on the night of the full moon, the so-called blood moon. It is a very yellowish-red moon. Marcelin mounted his horse and galloped off to his farm. He came running and called his wife. Terrified, she didn't understand anything and followed him. He called her into the bedroom so that his children wouldn't hear the conversation and told her everything he had heard about the story of Mr. Romeo. After he told everything, he asked, "Marta, what now? What do we do? Rodrigo turns 17 in 20 days. If he is cursed, he might even hurt us. He will lose his senses and act like a ferocious animal. Tomorrow I'll go to the city and order a cage to lock him up. We can't let him loose, it's too dangerous. What's more, we have to tell him, and no one outside can know. Let's put the cage in the barn, then no one will know if it's true. Then we put a mattress for him to sleep on 2 days before. Then we lock him up so he won't be in danger." And so they did. The next day, Marcelino ran to Tequiroi and ordered a 2-meter cage and returned home. He called his son Rodrigo and told him the whole story that he had heard at the neighboring farm, at Joao's farm. Then Rodrigo said, "Dad, I heard someone talking about it too. So, Dad, do what you have to do. I don't want to hurt anyone. Especially my family. What can I do to help?" asked Rodrigo, worried. Then his father said, "Don't worry, my son. I ordered a big cage and I will put it in the barn, so no one will know. So 2 days before you will sleep there, okay?" Rodrigo said yes. Then Marcelin and his family were counting the minutes. It was time to lock Rodrigo up. There were 2 days left. They say that the second night was even sadder and more terrifying. When the moon rose in the sky, Rodrigo began to howl like a dog. His father ran to see how he was reacting and was confronted with a horrible scene. Rodrigo, who was a beautiful boy, was writhing all over and turning into an untamed beast. Marcelin can't tell how the cage could withstand such pressure. Rodrigo spent the whole night howling. His father tried to get close to him, but the animal became ferocious. He didn't recognize him and kept trying to get ahead of him. Marcelin locked the barn and ran out to avoid danger in case he escaped from the cage. He returned home and told his family how he was doing. His brothers were all terrified. One of them even asked, "Now what? How are we going to sleep with Rodrigo in the same room, knowing that he is a werewolf?" Their father replied, "Calm down, he only turns on full moon nights. You don't have to be afraid of him." Then Jonah also asked, "Dad, is there another one around? Did you hear another one?" So as not to scare them, Marcelin said, "I don't know, I didn't pay attention. It's just that we heard Mr. Romeo say that if a werewolf hurts someone, the person is also transformed. They say that the curse is transmitted through a bite." SCU Romeo also said that there are many cases around Takiroai. "What can we do? Isn't there a way to end this curse?" asked Marcelin. The next day, Marcelin rushed to ask Romeo how they could end the curse. He said right away, "I don't want to scare you, Marcelin, but unfortunately there is no way. The person who is born with this curse can only escape by death. And to kill a werewolf, only with silver bullets. This is the only way, and the only way to end the suffering of a person who has this curse," Romeo explained to Marcelin. Marcelin returned home very sad and told his family what he had heard. He said, "We need to be armed with silver bullets. In case one of us is attacked, we have to defend ourselves, because Rodrigo stays locked up, but the others are loose and running around, so we're always in danger." So Marcelino went to buy silver ammunition and loaded all the firearms he had on the farm. Marcelin called two peons who worked with him on the farm and asked, "Guys, do you have a revolver or any firearms?" They replied, "Yes we do, boss. We always carry them because of the werewolves that prowl around in these woods." "Alright then, I'll load them with silver bullets, because these common bullets don't kill werewolves. Another thing, avoid going out on full moon nights, okay?" The peons answered and laughed. At the end of the month, another full moon night arrived. Because of this, everyone counted the days not to get lost, as this could cost them their lives and have even more people contaminated. Before that, when there were 2 days left until the full moon, Marcelin had already called Rodrigo and locked him in the cage for everyone's protection. When the moon began to point up in the sky, Rodrigo began to howl strongly. And this time, 2 more different howls were heard in the woods, terrifying everyone even more. The other werewolves were near the barn, because when there is a werewolf around, they join together to form a pack. More on the next video. Subscribe to our notifications. See you soon.